I think it's really, 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 really important as everything kind of boils up to where people are just getting really, really frustrated to recognize all the different ways, as Pink says, people are getting pissed. People in Congress, people in Senate, because these are the same people in the past. They were called on to be outraged over Hillary Clinton's emails and the mishandling of basic classified information, including wedding plans and stuff like that. When you have Pete Hegseth signal chatting specific attack plans hours before it happened, putting lives in danger, you have Doge canceling many, 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 many different positions in many different very, very important organizations like NOAA, the National Weather Organization, that actually is tasked with letting people know that there are tornadoes or there are hurricanes or there are blizzards or there is something like that. And just yesterday, there are 27 people and counting, because one of the Doge cuts was the department that actually watches out for tornadoes and stuff and sets off the warning systems overnight. They just didn't have anyone working. 27 people died because they had no warning. And F3, F4s dropped down on their homes. Because Elon Musk had to cancel everything just so he could erase any evidence needed to erase from him and his closest friends and highest bidders and blah blah. Different story, different video. But anyway, we have Newark Airport having 3 or 4 air traffic controllers where they should have 14 working at all time. We have them lowering qualifications for military and very, very important technical positions, because merit-based hiring is very, very important. So they actually took out the requirement of a GED or a high school diploma to enroll in military, to sign up for military, important jobs. And the jobs that they're not giving Americans and they're not training Americans to do, they're actually using the, H-1 visas to bring in overseas immigrants, illegal immigrants, but they'll work for half the price. But he will also deport a Harvard professor, female scientist that runs a cancer research product that has recently been documented to be on the verge of curing cancer. This wonderful woman is actually an outspoken Russian scientist that was given full asylum because she was publicly threatened by Vladimir Putin and different factions of the Russian government because she was such a brilliant scientist and did a lot of important stuff. She came back into the country with undocumented frog legs from France. She just didn't put it on paperwork. So she was thrown in jail for 3 months. And Donald Trump decided to send her back to Russia. So she's getting out of jail and being sent back to Russia. This is a woman that works for Harvard Medical, which, as you remember, said no to Barron Trump's enrollment, and then all of a sudden had all sorts of problems with the Trump administration trying to tell them what curriculum to teach and what teachers are allowed to teach it, and all that other stuff that these higher centers for learning are not, which is why they're so valuable and so important. So aside from all that, aside from we have media that we rely on to get information to us. We have the Centers for Disease Control. We have NOAA. We have all of these organizations, the National Health Organization, the World Health Organization, that is tasked with informing the public so they have the information to protect themselves. Now, Donald Trump and his associates actually went and a little too far on the let's unplug the education side. Let's not test for COVID, therefore the numbers will be lower. Therefore, we win. We lowered the number of COVID cases. That's the pattern of thinking here. If people don't know a storm's coming, then, hey, less storms are coming. No, just more people die. But this is happening in the red states. Like, ask Sarah Huckabee Sanders. With a whole bunch of tornadoes came, and did a whole bunch of damage that they also didn't know much about, and there were fatalities and all that. And she asked for emergency relief from storms, emergency relief that's needed. We're looking at the predicted biggest hurricane season of all time coming up, starting in, I think, in 3 weeks, going on right now. And these states were denied any federal aid. Yes, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Smoky Eye herself, that's, yeah, that one. Daddy Trump said no. The red states reeling. They don't have any disaster relief. And all of those USAID-funded organizations that helped. MAGA, you winning yet? Ladies and gentlemen, the Trump show and the Trump ego have collided in such a way that he underestimated the voices speaking out. He underestimated the people uniting, getting together behind the scenes, and forming these communities and actually strengthening in numbers, and recognizing that even across the ponds and across all the oceans, we have the same problems. Our governments, our economy, our things, we are one. We are united. We are fighting the same battle. And yes, Donald Trump, fuck them, harder than us. They didn't vote for him. He's not the president of their company, but they still lost their jobs. They still cost all this, and their prices are going up because of him. That's how he affects the whole world. That's the problem with most Republicans. They can't see anyone but themselves. And no matter what, that takes a lot to crack that nut, that bubble of seeing just themselves, their own family, their daughters, their wives, their sisters. Knowing that he stated in Project 2025 directly goes after all of their rights, like all of their freedoms, like even their freedom to vote, a one-vote household. That's in there. It's in their plans. They consciously voted for the man that was saying they were going to do that to their loved ones. So when you look at just that one part, and God forbid the women that voted for him, that's still, with daughters, holy crap. How could you look yourselves in the mirror? I mean, just open your eyes and watch what he's actually doing in the ramifications of those actions. They're not just happening all over the world. They will be right up here really soon. So grab your Vaseline, here it comes. And newsflash, it's your fault. And all the people just like you. Because we've been trying to tell you, and you've been yelling at us ever since. It's your own damn fault. But here's the kicker. Drop the bullshit. Come to our side and let's help stop it. Because your voice in this situation is more valuable than ours. Because he may listen to yours. You voted for him. But at least call your senators. At least call your congressmen. And if it doesn't work on the first phone call, call 10 times a week. You're not that busy. And you got a lot to make up for. You owe this country. Make the fucking phone calls. For the rest of us, make the phone calls because we should and we can. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. We need to stand tall and not be afraid of speaking up. We need to stand united. We need to stand shoulder to shoulder. We need to recognize we need to stay educated. We need to stay diligent. But be kind. That is the most important part of all this, because we are all in this together, and no matter what happens, the reeducation is coming in very, very painful ways. And you could tell if you pay attention to when these Trump flags are disappearing from the front yards. And I guarantee you, you can watch them happen very soon. All those farmers on the Central Valley, that water that was turned on, that evaporated, they need it already, and it's not there. How do you think they're going to feel when it's 115 degrees? Their education is real. Winning yet?